sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 call for action. Investigative reporter Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges, but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Adam Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. Spoiler alert, 31, 13, and 0 are not lottery numbers, but they're important, and here's why. Because a Colorado woman who is 31 years old admits to having sex and getting pregnant and having a baby of a 13-year-old boy won't face any jail time under a plea deal. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard of a plea deal like this if a man who was 31 got a 13-year-old pregnant and they were in court? Have you ever heard of a plea deal like that? If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, give me a thumbs down. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this news clip right here, and then we're going to read an article about this particular situation.
An investigation. A 31-year-old woman who admits to having sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 call for action. Investigative reporter Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges, but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Adam Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life.
Let me ask you guys a question. Would you be happy if your son was involved in something like this and the adult in the situation got a plea deal? And let me ask you guys a question. Make sure you leave in the comment section how you feel this happened and why you feel this happened.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
Now, what's crazy is that this woman, the 31-year-old woman, she is not gonna serve any jail time. But if this 13-year-old is late on child support, he's going to jail. Where do you see something like this happen at?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration. And I feel like because she's a woman, they're not. They're having compassion for her because she was pregnant.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you agree with the mother? If you all agree with the mother, give me a thumbs down. If you guys don't agree with the mother, or if you agree with the mother, give me a thumbs up. If you don't agree with the mother, give me a thumbs down. If I was them, I don't know how you would go about that, but I would try to get a retrial or something, because this is just wild. And also, I want to see a example of something like this happening for a man. And also, what do you guys think about the child support situation? The 13-year-old is going to have to pay child support, and he was a victim of statutory rape. How does that work?
But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. You know, that child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly. I mean, you can't trust anybody now.
The victim's family says they are looking for the next steps in this case, and they'll actually ask the courts to give custody to the 13-year-old of this baby. Adam and Lindsay, what we do know is that Serrano has a hearing coming up in May where she will learn how much probation time she'll have. Currently, Serrano has full custody of the baby. Back to
Wow, so she has full custody of the baby, so he's more than likely definitely going to be paying child support.
you.
Okay, we'll follow up on that case. Matt, thank you.
Wow. So what we're going to do is we're going to look more in depth about this, and we're going to check out an article from the Gazette and see exactly what the Gazette is saying about this. This is a crazy situation, and this just validates a lot of the complaints that men have about today's society that women just don't want to acknowledge, even when there's literal evidence of it. Like this, there'll be some deflection, or it didn't happen, or you're over exaggerating. Are we over exaggerating now? So now here it says Fountain woman to get no jail time for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old. Mother unhappy with the plea deal. So she committed a crime, and she will most likely in the future be getting a paycheck for committing this crime. All right. A Fountain woman who was accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old boy and becoming pregnant with his child accepted a plea deal on Thursday, and as a result will avoid further jail time for the allegations. Andrea Ninette Cenero, 31, is accused of having a sexual relationship with a boy who Serrano said viewed her as a mother figure, according to Serrano's arrest affidavit. So somebody needs to get Officer Megan Hall in here and have her read up on this particular case so she can see what actual grooming looks like. You know what I'm saying? Serrano originally faced 2 charges: sexual assault against a child and sexual assault against a child under the age of 15 by one in a position of trust. But Thursday morning, Serrano entered a plea of guilty to the charge of quote-unquote incest, an amended charge added for Serrano to plead guilty to. So that's interesting. So now you got to ask the question, was she related to this boy? Because why would they add in a charge of incest? What's going on here? The plea deal agreed upon by Serrano comes with a potential sentencing of 10 years to life on sex offender intensive supervision probation, as well as having to register as a sex offender for the remainder of her life. The plea deal also stipulates that there will be no additional jail time given to Serrano at the sentencing. The mother of the victim spoke to Judge William Moeller prior to the plea deal being accepted to voice her displeasure with the fact that Serrano may never receive jail time for her crime. She sexually assaulted my 13-year-old son. She introduced him to drugs. She needs to be in jail, the mother of the victim said in court. It's a double standard. If she was a man and my son was a girl, she would be behind bars right now. And that's facts. And shout out to that mother for being honest about the gender bias. Despite the objection to the plea deal from the victim's mother, Judge Moeller accepted the agreed upon plea deal and set for a sentencing hearing to take place on May 18th. The prosecution noted during the plea deal that Serrano had given birth to the child she conceived with the victim, and she is currently caring for the child. Custody and visitation of the child was a topic briefly discussed as an unresolved issue at the end of the hearing, but Moeller stated it was not something that could be resolved in his courtroom and would need to be resolved by the Department of Human Services. Serrano is currently out of custody after having posted a $70,000 bond in July of 2022 and will remain out of custody on bond until her sentencing hearing. Serrano currently has 2 additional misdemeanor cases open in 4th Judicial District Court for violating terms of a protection order and is slated to go to jury trial on both cases next month on March 13th. So this woman also has prior cases. And look at the leniency that they gave her. She violated a protection order. She's an abuser. This is a pattern of abuse, and yet and still nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? So when you have judges like this and nothing happens to you after multiple crimes that show a pattern, it's not difficult to understand why it's so hard to survive the suburbs. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, watch the video all the way through to the end. If you're not subscribed to my other channels, hit the links at the end of the video, and I will catch you all on the next one. All right? Peace.